What's up, dog?
What's up, man?
I'm kicking it. Stoked to have you.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, dude.
Yeah, you were saying you don't like the subway?
No, I do not.
Yeah. I thought you were saying no, that you didn't say that for a second. You're like, you do not like it?
I do not like the subway.
You don't like being underground, you just said.
I don't know. There is something weird about it. Like, I don't mind when it's, like, above ground. Like, seeing outside and shit. That's kind of nice.
That's, like, really cool.
Mm-hmm.
You ever take the one to the beach?
Yeah, like the A.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's, like, wetlands and shit. It's, like, pretty cool.
Yeah,
It's,
it's
like,
pretty tight.
Surprisingly beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
Fucking. You said you're from West Virginia?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
You're
Just
from...
rehashing the entire conversation we had 10 seconds before.
Yeah. Wait, where are you from again?
I'm from outside of Philadelphia.
Word. Kind of knew that.
Oh, yeah. I like the subway, though.
Yeah?
I think it's fun.
Why?
Every time I see it, it looks like I can't help but look at it as like a flat floor that they put a little box around that moves like the whole, because if you ever see like the old photos where it was just a floor that they had like moved before they put like the box around it. Not like, I don't know if they did it for the subway, but they like, it's basically like, you know when you're at the airport, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they have that rolling,
The escalator.
the
that's
sideways.
flat?
Yeah.
Yeah.
In my mind, that's kind of what a subway is. But
that's
really,
kind of sick, I guess.
kind of really fast. I don't know. I think it's neat. I don't mind being underground. I like being underground.
I feel like I like the idea of being underground, but the reality is like, it's like, why am I in this shit right now? Because I live in Harlem too, so it's like 45 minutes to get everywhere.
Oh, so you're underground for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
You don't
Quite a while.
You don't enjoy it. You don't feel like a mole rat or like a badger or something.
I have no imagination with it.
Well, you must have some imagination towards the negative with it. Like, are you concerned about being underground? What's the?
Nah, just as like, why am I doing this?
but from like it's unnatural to be underground as a human, or what's the idea?
Yeah, maybe honestly, it's like maybe this will lead into something that we don't need to get into yet. But honestly, like I prefer like walking outside to like doing stand up.
Oh,
So
same.
it's just
yeah.
like, really?
Yeah.
So it's just like, this fucking sucks. I got to go underground to get to something that's just like worse than walking in my neighborhood.
Well, hold on. You were saying that's going to lead to something?
Well, I just thought that might like turn into some stand-up talk when we're still just talking about underground.
Oh, sure. Yeah. I like we'll get into stand-up talk and don't you worry, folks. We'll talk about comedy and the types of comedy and all that sort of shit. If I turn to the camera, that's me addressing the audience.
Mm-hmm. Breaking the wall.
Breaking the wall. Breaking barriers.
Yeah. New barriers.
Breaking the glass phone screen. I punch out of the computer. Watch if you're watching on YouTube. Do you like flying?
No, I hate flying.
Really? Is it a similar situation or what?
Yeah, I hate being above ground.
You like ground level, dude.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't know. I just hate being confined on a plane.
Mm.
Like getting my knees in that shit. Like everything just moves so slowly. Like if I listen to music sucks on a plane.
Why?
Because I just feel like I'm waiting for the songs to get over so I can get off the plane. So I'm like not like present with anything.
Interesting. I last time I flew, I remember finding it really like kind of like magical to kind of like combine the song with looking out the window.
Well, it depends. Sometimes I feel like if I have the window, I feel like such a burden if like my window's open but everyone else's is closed and shit. Or it'll be like we're above the clouds to the point where like you can't even see anything out there. It's like I'm getting nothing out of this.
But you're above the clouds.
That is kind of cool.
Yeah, you get to see the top of the clouds, like the dark side of the moon.
Yeah, true.
Nobody's ever seen the top of the clouds until now.
Yeah.
It's kind of neat that like there's like at a certain level it just is clouds.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
I guess. Is it always clouds?
I don't know.
I don't know either, actually.
Like I wonder if you go up high enough, is it guaranteed? I have no clue. Because if you look at like a blue sky, is it like there's actually clouds there, but they're just like way far or something?
Maybe. I feel like there probably aren't.
Not. Right.
Yeah.
That seems reasonable.
But it seems like there's always clouds when I fly.
Yeah. Maybe you just like because you're going soaring through the sky, you're more likely to run into them or something.
Yeah, true. A lot of ground to cover. Do you like flying though?
I
Generally,
do. Well, I guess part of it is that I haven't done it that many times. So to me, it's still like a really like novel experience.
Yeah.
I think maybe if I were to do it like 20 more times, I'd be like, all right, now it is just the clouds. I would get sick of it, you know?
Yeah.
Have you done it a bunch to go back to West Virginia? Or is
Well, now my parents live in like Oregon, so I gotta like
Mm.
fly like all the time, like going back home for Christmas or whatever bullshit.
right?
Yeah, so it's like 6 hours like there and back, and it's just like this is awful.
Well, not only that, it's like there's such a better thing waiting for you where you're going, like Christmas celebration with the family versus is that a better thing than being in the sky? Is that
It depends. It depends.
what do you like?
What do I like? I like nature. Nature's pretty good.
And walking around.
Walking around.
You like walking around in nature?
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah. People ask if I like hiking, and I feel like in my head I'm like, I like walking around on like a forest path, but not like necessarily like up a mountain. I don't know. How do you feel?
I kind of like going up, but I don't like going down.
Mm.
Sometimes it's like too steep.
Just weird to move. Yeah.
Yeah.
I like going up if it's like really steep, but not if it's like a gentle incline for like 5 miles. It's like, okay, but I'd rather climb a thing, you know,
Like actual climb.
to some degree, or like have to step up some rocks. That's like fun, right?
Yeah, that is kind of fun to go up.
Yeah.
I feel that.
And now let's jump to stand up. You have a really interesting bit, and I guess I was kind of looking at some of these things through this lens or filter, but your bit is about looking at things through a lens or filter, which I think is really interesting. If I can sort of paraphrase it, maybe for the people at home, it's still really stuck with me. First time I saw you do it.
Yeah.
Like the idea of you have a mind, and like you have like a mind, but then between you and observing like the world, there's the outside world. There's like these like inherent filters or lenses that are innate or biological that you have to view the world through. Like I guess sexual desire was one of the main ones that you're touching on, where it's like you see some sort of form. It's like why, as my mind without a filter, just looking at that'd just be like a shape or a color or a body or whatever. But because there's some weird filter between me and that thing, I want to have sex with it or something. How am I accurate?
I do agree with like that. It's like, well, the way I like first heard about it, I was like tripping, and I was like, what the fuck? Like I was seeing how like messed up everyone's faces are, like just like seeing people's eyes and they're like that and shit. Like one eye's just like so much lower than the other one. And I was telling my friend, I was like seeing all this stuff that I'd like never seen before, and he was like, that's because it's like the mind at large, like the filter was like released on your brain or whatever. So like the theory is that like there's all this like information or whatever that is like always there that we could be sensing, but our minds are like kind of like simmering it down to something smaller so we can like handle it and like see the world in a way where it's like useful to us, like with sex or whatever, to like reproduce or things like that, or to just like get by in our day where we're not like distracted by like all the shifting stuff around us.
There's a series of like I guess like every sense has its own filter, and then they each collectively have like they have their own series of filters. And then collectively there's some sort of general paring down. It's something like you don't hear 80% of the noise or something. It just gets like filtered out. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Speak more to this. I guess what do you feel like people don't know about it, or like what's your angle on it here? Do you think people aren't aware of it?
I think a lot of people do know about it, honestly, like people that have had those experiences that I'm talking about. And I think there's like a general understanding of like, yeah, our minds are probably like filtering reality to some extent to just like keep us in survival. But I think people might like know that like intellectually, but on like a basic understanding level, they don't really assume that to be true. It's kind of like how like you know that your body's made out of atoms, but that's not like a fact that you're really like thinking about.
It's not how you live your life.
No.
Yeah, I do. I count all of them every day. I wake up, I go, it's us again, boys. But we lost a couple good soldiers.
I don't know. But I feel like it kind of got like stuck in my head, and now it's like I can't like not see that shit.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, when you said it, I similarly, like, sort of like I kind of freaked out a little bit, like watching your stand up, but in a fun way, like,
Yeah.
like, oh, that's a really cool way to kind of decouple things, and like you can kind of do it with a lot of stuff. I think the visual filters is really interesting. I guess another example is like snake shapes are inherently like trigger like a fear response.
Yeah, I've heard
That's like
about
another
that.
one. Yeah. There's like I'm trying to think of some of them. There's like the sexual. There's fear. I guess every emotion probably is triggered by. Okay, one I heard also was because I guess I've heard these things before, but I never viewed them as I have my inherent mind, and then plus there's like these genetically coded things that are causing filters, and one of them's the color sky blue is similarly filtered out the one you notice the least, because like evolutionarily you'd be outside during the day, and if you were noticing the color sky blue, then you'd be constantly noticing the sky. As you want to, sky blue fades to the background in comparison to other colors.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. That's just fucking crazy.
Yeah,
I had no idea that was true.
isn't that interesting?
Yeah,
And then I guess like red and yellow really stick out.
I guess that makes sense. Maybe that's like food colors or some shit.
Yeah, or like also that as well as like dangerous animals.
Oh, true. Snakes.
Or we evolved to appreciate a beautiful sunset. Or, yeah. Or poisonous stuff, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting.
Have you had that experience too, where you felt like when you're like tripping or whatever that you did have like the filters coming off?
I felt. I don't know if I felt the filters coming off because I know it's like a serotonin thing. And I know the senses are serotonin based, but I felt like what am I thinking? I felt like it was being shaken. It wasn't like the filters were removed as much as they were being distorted. You know what I mean?
Yeah, kind
Like,
of.
I remember we had this couch that was like had all these squiggles on it, and when I was on acid, I saw the couch and it looked like the wiggles were like moving. But I don't think like in terms of like the information being there, I don't think the wiggles were actually moving. I think my perception was being distorted. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I've had that experience too.
Mm.
Yeah, because like sometimes I wonder, it's like after that, it's like, are the walls just like breathing all the time, or was like I just tripping?
Exactly.
And it wouldn't make sense if they're like actually moving.
Right.
But
Yeah.
maybe I'm just really perceptive to like my head going like back and forth.
That could be it. That could be it. Like maybe it's increasing your totally. I think that could be what it is. It's like the serotonin's really maxing it,
Ramping that shit out.
ramping that. Yeah. I was thinking about there's that other thing where it's like some famous philosopher had that idea of where your eyes are. Like right now you're where you are, and you can see me, you can see the stuff in the room. But if you were to move over here, you could also see that stuff. If you go over here, you can also see that stuff. But it's like so those visual perspectives are always at every point in time, but they're only being absorbed when our eyes are at that specific point in space. You know what I mean?
Like it's kind of like the tree falling in the woods, right?
Yeah. It's like, can you see me if I'm still over there? Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy. I guess what I'm thinking about now is like, because I didn't really think about the filter that much besides like the visual aspect, but also if you had this, like I feel like if I like see like food when I'm tripping, it's just like, that looks so fucked up. Like seeing like a pizza or whatever, it's just like, that's wrong.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
I think it's kind of reminding me of like I think like have you ever gone vegetarian, or are you vegetarian?
Yeah, I am like kind of vegetarian.
Okay, so I don't know if you felt this way, but I've been vegetarian for a few years. I'm currently off of it. Maybe I'll go back on. But during that time frame, there came a time when my mental filter for meat became disgust as opposed to desire. And it's like interesting. Did it get trained, or what happened? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I wonder if
what
that's
you mean.
yeah.
Yeah, because I feel like meat is inherently like obviously everyone like loves that shit, but it's like if you really think about it, it's like, what is this?
Yeah, it's like blood and guts and shit. Yeah.
Yeah.
trying to think about the smell filters. That's an interesting one. I guess pheromones are so interesting. I wish we were more cognizant of them.
Yeah.
Like, it's so interesting how subconscious pheromones are, because, like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. I do know what you mean. Because it's like, well, they say it's so tied up in, like, liking people. But then at the same time, they say it's like they don't actually have, like, scientific evidence of it. This is going to sound creepy, but it's like sometimes you just smell armpit, and it's like, it's pretty good.
No, I know what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like that's like pheromones. That's like a heavy dose to the point where you, like, know you smell it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, I'm
not
wondering,
the subconscious ones.
Yeah, because subconscious is like, you're in a room with somebody. It'll be like, I don't know, the same exact person, but they spray them with different pheromones, and then, like, the attraction increases or something unconsciously.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or maybe consciously. Maybe they're like, she smelled bad before or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like the idea of it being, like, subconscious, though. Like, you just, like, don't even realize you're smelling somebody, and you're like, that guy's fucking whack.
So I think it's relevant somehow. I wonder what level of consciousness it is. It's like you and I are having a conversation right now, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like it's like the enjoyment of it is at a level where we're talking to each other and having fun.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm so curious if there's some pheromone signals that are, but how much of those are dictate, like, if I was agitating you, maybe you'd be giving off agitation pheromones. You know what I mean?
My angry stinks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then I would know to dislike you because you dislike me or something. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's interesting. I'm sure I'm giving off some pheromone, vibing out pheromones.
I don't even know if I have pheromones because I don't have armpit stink.
No, I mean, it's your whole body.
My whole
gives them
body
off.
does it?
I think. Shit. Weigh in on the comments.
Yeah. That is true, though. Like, I don't have armpit smell.
What?
Yeah. I'm Korean. It's, like, half Korean.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I was, like, looking it up. Apparently, like, do you have, like, wet earwax?
No, I've got
Dry?
Yeah.
Okay, because they say that I was looking at something and they said like 97% of people with dry earwax don't have armpit stink.
Really?
Yeah, and people with like wet earwax have like stinky armpits.
Maybe I have wet earwax then. I don't know. It doesn't seem like it's not like wet. It's like
it's like gooey though.
No.
Is it just like little rocks?
No. It's
What
like
is
in
it?
between. It's like I'd say it's more like a paste, I guess.
That's
know.
gooey.
That's
think.
gooey. Okay, I was gonna
Yeah,
say it's
'cause
like thicker than gooey though.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't know. Weird. How about you?
I have
You
like
dry?
little flaky shit.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Yo, you said, are you half Korean?
Mm-hmm.
What's your other half? What you got?
What you got? What do you think? Can edit this out later.
Italian?
No, I'm not Italian. I'm just like a bunch of other white shit though. I'm like Irish, German, Swedish, Norwegian, Scottish maybe.
Norwegian.
Mhm.
Interesting.
Mhm.
Cool.
Yeah.
You're gonna edit it out if I had guessed some sort of racist guess. Is the idea?
Yeah, I was just thinking. So many people like have different like assumptions for me. I have like no idea what I like look like anymore. People will call me like a light-skinned black dude. I'll get asked if I'm like Native American or if I'm like Latino and shit. So it's just like I don't know what the fuck I look like.
That's
anymore.
surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because everyone's always like, well, that's crazy that they'd say that to you, but then other people are like, that's crazy that the other people said that shit to you.
Your name strikes me as being Vietnamese for some reason.
Really?
I don't know.
Yeah, it's just Korean.
Mm.
I kind of know what you mean though, because they have those like I feel like there's like foods that sound kind of like my last name.
I think so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's that shit called? Like a bo bun hue or whatever. I don't know how to say that in Vietnamese, but that looks kind of similar.
I think there's literally one that's called like a Baek or something.
Really?
So like, I don't know, but it might be with a Q instead or something.
Yeah. What type of white are you?
Vietnamese. No. I'm half Jewish, half like Pennsylvania. It's kind of so Pennsylvania Dutch, but then like other stuff mixed in there.
It's like Quaker.
More like kind of Amish people, but
Mhm.
like not like we're culturally Pennsylvania Dutch, which is sort of this whole thing. Nah, I don't know.
Where'd you guys come from before?
It was German,
Okay.
Germany. But I'm like, but there's like there's like Irish and English and other shit mixed in there. So we just say Pennsylvania. My family's been in Pennsylvania since like the 1600s. So it's
That's
like
crazy.
whoever came to Pennsylvania. Yeah.
Damn.
So I would just say half Jewish, half Pennsylvania.
What's the Jewish part made out of?
Mostly, I think that's like half, like near Kiev, which has been like a couple different. So it's like that could be considered Ukraine or Russia or
Like Eastern European.
Yeah, yeah. Whenever, and then the other half is Austrian.
Oh, word.
Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. Got some weird white people stuff going on. Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think I was Jewish for a little bit?
No, I guess that I would have gone with Italian.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't have enough other Jewish features.
Just the hair.
You just have curly hair. You just have a bit of a Jufro, but not even a Jufro necessarily.
Yeah. Sometimes it gets a little longer. It turns into more of one.
Oh, yeah? Have people guessed that?
People think I'm Jewish all the time.
That's so weird. Anybody ever think you're black? Is that
Yeah.
really?
Yeah. Well, they think I'm either like oblation or sometimes. I just remember one time in like high school, someone just being like, I walked past this girl and she's like, fucking light skinned dudes. And it's just like,
I'm so light skinned, I'm Korean.
yeah. I think back then they were just confused because like they'd never seen a half Asian person before. So they got to guess I'm like other sort of shit.
You know, okay, here's a thought. Coming back to the filters idea. And, you know, obviously we're all individuals, but it's an interesting social filter, the idea of race and ethnicity. You know, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah, why is it interesting?
It's like as if it says something about you, and it does in theory say something. It like establishes some sort of pattern, or it's like, oh, this is where my ancestors are from. But I think a lot of people use it as a way to learn something about somebody else, but it really can't tell you much. Like if you telling me that you're Korean, it'd be wrong of me to assume anything from that. Do you know what I mean?
You could assume some stuff.
I could. I guess I could assume that you did some Korean stuff growing up, like that you were raised in. But even that is like that feels what a racist sounding thing to. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. I guess. What type of Korean what type of Korean things do you think I would have done because of that? Though?
I guess I would assume. Okay, so maybe these are fair assumptions. It's like you have one parent who I assume is full, and so they probably have like foods or celebrations or things like that they would have brought from Korea if they're from Korea directly.
Yeah, and he does have like all the food and shit.
Right. So you telling me that you're half Korean, I'm like, okay, so you probably grew up eating some specific foods. You know what I mean? But it's like, why is that interesting? It is interesting.
Yeah, because then you just have like a different idea of shit. I don't know. I don't think you got to like back away from that.
I don't know if I'm not trying to back away from it as much as trying to pinpoint it within the filter conversation of why, if you ask somebody their race or their ethnicity, what does that tell you about them without it being? Because like if you like, I guess there's racist stereotypes where it's like somebody's, you know, Korean, they do a racist thing or whatever.
Yeah, driving bad or some shit.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not that good of a driver. But I think that comes from my white
No,
side.
I know you told me you were half Korean.
Yeah, I guess I don't really understand the function of it. I think it just like identifies like tribes or whatever. Like tribalism, you know? It's like that's so important like back in the day, and now it's kind of just like something that we don't need to like focus on anymore.
Do you think there are important tribes to be a part of these days?
Yeah, but I don't think it like has that much to do with your race, honestly. It's more just like related to like social standing. And I feel like I mean, obviously in some places social stuff is like really tied into race, but try to be outside of that. I think it's like more often now like people are associating like what they used to associate with like skin color with like maybe like how you dress or like how you look, like not race wise, but just like how you're presenting yourself. To be like, these can be my friends, like they're all hot and they have cool shoes.
Right. Yeah, being an ethnicity is now a type of shoe.
Yeah. What do you think about it though?
No, I actually do think that's a fair point. Not that like it's as if it's sort of a because it is becoming sort of this ancestral marker. It's becoming sort of heritage, fun thing that you can kind of like hopefully in a utopic society, your race and ethnicity would be a sort of like interesting set of customs or traditions that you like have maybe carried forward, or like, I don't know, interesting lineage stuff. But other than that, not anything necessarily needed beyond a flavor. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like it wouldn't determine your caste, or people wouldn't be racist against. I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm trying to say that, but it's like I heard it's like some people their culture is important. They're trying to bring it forward.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
I just don't have any like tie to my culture, honestly, so I don't really give a shit. But I could see like some people like wanting to hang on.
Yeah.
Like my dad's like, even though he's Korean, he was like born in like, or not born in Cleveland, but like raised in Cleveland, and he's like kind of just like a redneck a little bit.
Hell yeah.
And he just like talks like a radio announcer or some shit, and he doesn't even care about being Korean. Then like none of the Koreans think I'm Korean, so it's just like fuck you guys. I don't care about this shit.
What tribe are you a part of?
What is a tribe?
Like what groups do you feel like you
Oh.
have in group? I don't know.
I don't
Presence
know.
with yeah.
I don't really feel like I'm in a group that much, honestly.
How about comedians?
Yeah, comedians is definitely one, but I feel like I'm kind of on the fringe of that shit too, because like I don't give a fuck about comedy. Like everyone else like loves comedy. I don't care about it at all.
Really? Why are you doing it?
Someone told me I should like years ago, and then I was like, I guess I'll try, and then like I kept going, and then now I'm here and I don't care.
That's funny.
Mm-hmm.
That could be why you're. What do you care about doing? Walking around nature?
I mean, I like doing that. I don't really care about anything, which isn't good. I'd like to get like married eventually, maybe.
Yeah,
It's
absolutely.
about-
I mean, same, totally.
Yeah?
Yeah.
That's like about like all my ambition in life. It's like have some fun, make other people have some fun.
I would quit comedy for the right person.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you planning on quitting comedy at some point?
I think I might take a break starting in like July.
Interesting.
I think I'm gonna like move to like the woods or some bullshit.
I caught you like right at the tail end of doing comedy. That's fascinating.
Yeah.
Damn. It's so hearing your perspective on like the underground or flying or anything has been like so opposite of mine. Like I really love comedy. So
Really?
that's a really interesting like complete opposite. Yeah.
Everyone fucking loves comedy, and it's just like Jesus Christ, why?
I think maybe I get a lot of I really love that like sensation of pleasure from a joke. You know what I mean?
Like working or what? Like when you're telling one or when you're just listening to one even?
Hearing a joke.
Really?
Yeah, hearing something really funny. It's like one of my favorite things in the world. Yeah. Telling jokes is fun. I really like making a crowd laugh or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
That is fun to me, but it's more important to me that it's it's about like how funny it is. You know what I mean? I want it to be like a really funny thing.
Yeah.
Do
Do you feel like you can even like appreciate? Because like I always think about this where it's like with music, it's like, do they like listening to their own shit? Like musicians, and it's like, can you take pleasure out of like just like hearing a really funny joke that you wrote like from the same way you would if you were like an audience member?
The good ones, I hopefully, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think that's definitely an issue where it's like, I'll have a joke that is working or
Mhm.
something, and I can tell that, like, I know I really like it, but then I'll lose interest in it over time.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I've got this, my joke about cutting off a chicken's head and then
Mm-hmm.
can still walk around, and then if you cut off its legs, you can't. That one I, like, have done. It's like one of my oldest jokes, and I've done it so many times, and I'm like, I don't know if I still understand how to say it. You know what I mean?
Or
And
like if this is even funny anymore, kind of.
it's like not funny at all to me anymore.
Yeah.
I mean, but like I get it, but it's because I've lost it. The crowds are like, I'm not saying it correctly, so crowds are like, what?
Yeah,
You
I
know?
have that shit all the time, dude. But
What do you feel like you've lost? Do you like your own stuff?
sometimes I like writing, kind of. It'll be like, whoa, I made this. This is kind of fun. But then, like, by the time I've said it the third time, I'm just like, I don't need to do this anymore.
Really? Do you
Mhm.
retire jokes after like 3 times?
No, I keep them around. Like, I have, like, my, like, show material, basically. And I'll add in some new stuff that's new to just try. But I've been doing, like, some of the same jokes, like, over and over again for, like, a year and a half, 2 years now.
Sure.
And they're fine to say, but it's just, like, I'm getting nothing out of it.
Why not? Why don't you enjoy? Or like what? How is it nothing?
I don't know. It's just like I don't care if people laugh at what I say.
Mm.
Like it's just like I don't even know you guys. I just don't give a shit about comedy. I don't want people to like me for like stupid reasons.
Do you think having funny thoughts and ideas is a stupid reason to like somebody?
Well, I don't know if it's a stupid reason, but it feels so like artificial.
It does. I agree with that.
It's just like these guys don't even fucking know me.
Yeah, they like my thought about my chicken.
Yeah, and I'm like playing a character that doesn't even really like feel like me, so it's just like.
How's your character different than from you?
I mean, I think a bunch of weird shit all the time, which is basically what my jokes are. Like, probably people that listen to this, unless they actually know me, like, are just like, who the fuck is this guy? But, I mean, I say all the weird shit, and I think that sometimes, but for the most part, like, I'm honestly kind of like a normal guy. Like, my sense of humor is very different than, like, my stand-up sense of humor.
Really?
Yeah. Like, I'm honestly, like, my real sense of humor is, like, I'm just a naughty boy. Like, I just, like, get away with little shit. But in stand-up, I feel like I kind of do that because, like, I'm getting away with saying stupid shit, so it kind of amuses me. But the stuff I say is just like absurd existential shit, and it's like, this isn't me at all.
Wow. So the stand up it's funny to other people, but not to you. But it's funny to you because you're getting away with
It's a little
semi
funny.
unfunny. That's so fascinating. That's that's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes I think the shit I have to say, like, I actually like enjoy a joke I have, but for the most part, it's like it's fun to just go up there and like be an alien on stage for like 10 minutes.
Whoa. Okay. So you're like really trying to do like with the filter stuff and the like you're talking about the mind and stuff. You're trying to actually present as like maybe a literal alien to some degree.
Yeah, maybe.
As a people, I would love to see you lean into that.
Just
Unless
the
you quit
alien
comedy
shit.
in a month or two.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if I'll fully quit, but it's like, do you have this too where it's like, I don't like attention?
I feel neutral about attention.
Yeah, it's like it doesn't do anything for me.
Mm.
So just like the stand-up part doesn't appeal. Like being on stage is like, this isn't fun. It's fine.
I think, okay, so I think I'll agree the attention doesn't do it for me.
Mm-hmm.
What I love people and I love other people, and I think the fun for me with performing is not necessarily, I mean, if it goes well, I'm like, oh, cool, I'll get more people want to talk to me, and I view it as a chance to meet the people I want to meet. You know what I mean?
I like that part.
Yeah. I don't know. And so it's like if I'm doing well at a show, it's like, oh hell yeah, I'll get to have a good hang after. You know what I mean?
Should go schmooze around.
I'll get the schmooze with the. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like hanging out. Yeah.
I kind of like it. I mean, I'm like sober now. So like back in the day when I was like a drunk bastard, which I was for a while, it was like, that was fun. But now it's just like, I'm just like sober at a bar at like 11 o'clock. And it's like, I don't really want to talk to these people. Kind of just want to go home.
That's so fun. That's so funny. I tend not to drink at comedy shows.
Really?
But I'm loving it. I'm loving hanging out and shooting the shit. Because I'm there I'm riffing. I'm having, I think, not just with, what is it? I don't just like the part where it's like a joke is funny, but I love the new ideas they can give you. And it's like if you see somebody on stage and they change your mind about something, you know what I mean? You did that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
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 I mean, that's cool. Like, I want to be able to, like, do stuff like that. But then also I'm, like, so afraid of, like, not so afraid, but, like, I don't want to be, like, some guy that's like, I want to change people's minds. Like, that just feels fucking lame, so.
Well, but everybody's changing everybody's minds just by having something funny to say. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm trying to think there's people who aren't going up there and, like, being political or whatever, but they're, you know, just by having a funny observation about, like, a Gatorade bottle or something.
Yeah.
Like, I'm just thinking of that Julio Torres joke where he's like, the present you buy a straight man an empty Gatorade bottle for his room. It's like, that's hilarious. And it's like, oh, now I see that pattern. It's built into a wider framework of ideas, you know?
Yeah. I guess, yeah, as long as it's, like, something unique. Because I feel like a lot of times, like, I'll hear jokes where it's, like, it is funny, but it's, like, I don't think being funny necessarily is, like, a new way of seeing things necessarily.
No, but I think if it's a good, unique, funny idea,
yeah, definitely.
then it's like, you know.
can change some shit up in your mind.
Absolutely. I think stand-up comedy is like the forefront of ideas getting punched around in the culture. You know what I mean?
I do know what you mean, and especially just like the open mic scene or whatever. Because honestly, that's like my favorite part of stand-up. Like, I like just going up there and like being like, I wrote down some bullshit. Let's see like what happens.
What are you working on right now?
Nothing, honestly. I wrote some jokes last week. Well, I had one today where I was just like saying that when I look in the mirror, sometimes I'm like, damn, I look like an Evan. But I don't even think that's very funny. But we'll see.
Yeah, I think that's well, that joke didn't change my worldview or anything. So
yeah. Well, What about you? You have anything you're working on?
I look in the mirror and go, damn, I look like a Luigi. I was working on some poop material. What am I working on right now? I think right now I'm trying to like. Right now I'm less working on like new bits and more going, all right, I have this collection of stuff. How do I have it be thematically interesting in a longer set, you know?
Yeah, and piece it all together like that.
Yeah.
Because we have talked about that like outside of this before, where you're telling me your rule where it's like you try to have like 3 jokes that are a similar theme or whatever.
Yeah. It's less of a rule and more of a memorization device.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I thought that was like, I didn't know that was just for memorization.
No, it's just a memorization technique.
Yeah, because I was following that and it's like, this isn't working that well for me. Like, but
No, totally not a rule at all. Purely a system for, it's like, all right, I'll do my, because if I have 3 bug jokes in a set, it's like, well, I should, if I do them together, I'll remember that it's time to do my 3 bug jokes. You know what I mean?
That does make sense. I thought there was some reason where it's like, this is my bug section and like this is what like the audience would like when you're telling me about it.
Yeah. So I think it's more like I'll have, I think one of the ones I was telling you about is the 3 I did up top. It's like, all right, the audience will like these ones. And that's what that section is. It's just like, this one's going to be, these are quick, fast, clean ones to get the audience on my side. And then it's bug section and then mythological creatures. And it's like, and I'll do like the potty section towards the end, dirty stuff towards the end. So it is like, it is relevant, but it's not about the fact that it's in 3s or anything. That's just, yeah.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. You do have to kind of do that no matter what to some extent, I feel like. Just like...
Oh, sorry. Stevie's also a one-liner guy, just for the crowd.
Yeah.
I should have clarified that. So he's on a similar wavelength in terms of memorizing jokes. Yeah.
But honestly, like, I have a lot of, like, long bits that I used to do that would be, like, 2 minutes, 3 minutes long. I'm kind of pulling those out again, honestly.
I'd love to see them.
It's kind of more fun. Well, I mean, the one about, like, the brain filters... I think of that, like, it has, like, a lot of short jokes within it, basically. But I think of that as, like, a 4-minute-long joke.
That makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked your set a lot at the last Live Forever.
Yeah?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Didn't feel that good, but it was fun being on there.
No, it's a bad crowd. Yeah. No, it's, the show's on hiatus right now.
Oh, really?
Because part of it's, like...
Getting the new theme, right?
Yeah, well, the thing is, it's like filming it well. It is like a great idea for comedians. Comedians love that. Crowds don't give a shit. So it wasn't like drawing any particular audience. So sometimes it'd be like it was, which was a kind of a bad crowd. And we're like, all right, well, time to pay money to get a bunch of people bad tapes, you know. So, but I really liked the jokes in the set.
Oh, thanks, man. I always love your stuff too.
Thanks, dog. Appreciate it. One-liners, gotta represent.
Trying to think.
What'd you do in that show? I forget.
I don't know. I mainly just remember, like, I was just doing, like, my strongest shit because I was trying to get a tape out of it. So just, like, shit about my little brother and my parents are in a jazz band. And
you're doing some, like, real-world stuff. Yep.
The usual.
When you, do you talk about real life but then, like, kind of condense it to a joke also? Or, like...
Not really. Because my jokes that I was just saying, like my little brother and my parents, like both of those, I don't have a little brother and my parents aren't in a jazz band.
Right. Okay.
So I just say bullshit.
I fully believed it for, I was like, oh, interesting.
Yeah. No, I just say nonsense to myself and sometimes I think it's fun. What about you? Do you feel like you're trying to pull in stuff from real life? Like, you have a joke where I just remember, like, seeing this on, like, one of your clips or something, and just as, like, I've been eating bugs. Like, had you really been eating bugs?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yes, sir. I've that's on hiatus currently because they're a little expensive,
Mm-hmm.
and I need to secure my MF bag. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. That's something I was actually doing.
Were you just getting like food bugs, like the stuff they eat in like Mexico or like Southeast Asia or whatever?
I would buy like crickets in bulk.
Would you eat them like live or cook them?
No, cooked. They would come pre-cooked, pre-seasoned, everything.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
cool.
Oh, they're great.
Like, I was just
Edibleinsects.com.
I was just imagining you just like eating like flies and shit.
No.
I was
No.
like, that seems messed up. What if you had like a bug theme going on at the show? Like, what if you just like
that's
release some bugs in the
Genius. I bring my bugs for people to eat.
something?
Genius. I'm gonna do it.
Or just like release some spiders on the floor?
That's a brilliant idea. You can buy like ladybugs and bumblebees and praying mantises in bulk or whatever.
Really?
Like live ones. Yeah.
That's crazy.
And so I'll do that. I'll release them after the show. Everybody look under your seats. It's a swarm.
Yeah.
That's a great idea. When I rewatch the podcast, I'm going to write that down.
Really?
Like edible insect show.
Mhm.
I hand out bugs or something. Great idea. You saved the future of my...
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if I'm writing about stuff that I'm doing in the real world, I am
Mhm.
then condensing it into jokes. So it's like I'm eating bugs is like, that's the setup, and then it's like, here's 15 jokes within that are like made up entirely or semi-true. You know what I mean? The truest one was about me seeing insect legs in my poop. That was true. I was like, oh my God. That was like one of the funniest moments in my life. I was like, no.
It's fucked up.
Yeah. I think the crowd can tell that that's true too.
Yeah.
Like, can you tell? Could you?
I don't know what the hell's ever happening when you're on stage, if it's like true or not. So, no. I guess. Yeah, because you say crazy ass shit. Like, I don't want to spoil anything if they haven't heard your jokes, but your one
They
about
have.
like banging like scorpion like ladies in your dreams.
Oh, sure.
Some shit.
Yeah.
Does that happen?
Well, that joke's not out yet, actually.
That's what I was saying. I didn't want to spoil that.
No, totally. That one's that one. It was taped at Live Forever.
Yeah.
But I didn't use that tape.
Mhm.
And it's half true. It's the one where it's like, you ever play Dark Souls?
No, everyone talks about that game. I've never played.
Okay, well there's a spider where the top half is like a beautiful woman,
Mhm.
and so I've definitely like watched porn where it's like, you know, some hentai or like some animation thing where it's like a giant monster woman. You know what I mean?
Does she have like 8 legs down? Low?
Yeah. Or
Does she have like a spider vag?
I suppose so. Depends on the thing. But me having that, so the truth in that is the fantasy of the women is like, that is a true fetish I've gone down.
Would you
mentally.
like that?
In real life? I don't know, but you ever
Yeah,
watch,
you don't have
yeah,
to. You
yeah.
don't have
When you
to.
watch porn, it's not always like, I want that to happen to me. It's like,
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Interesting.
I don't want to be a orc army breeding I don't know, whatever the fuck. What's the truest thing you say on stage?
Might take me a minute. I don't know. Sometimes I just have jokes. Like I have this one joke that I don't really do on shows and shit. Or I haven't really tried. It's like a couple months old, but it's like whenever I'm writing jokes, I try to make good ones. Why? That's not going to make me happy. Then I'm like, nothing will. And that's kind of true.
Are you on antidepressants or anything? Should you be? Are you
No,
not
I'm
unhappy?
fine.
You're
I'm
just
fine.
neutral?
But it's like, I think it's more that I think like attaining something isn't like my path to happiness.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I'm not in this to attain anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's more just like, doesn't really matter if I write a funny joke or not.
Sure. Yeah. What is your path to happiness? Do you think getting married?
I don't
and
think that's
in the woods.
That just sounds like getting more stuff to some extent. Like, I think just like, I don't know, living a life where maybe kind of living in the woods, but living in a life where I'm like not really trying to like go for anything. Because I feel like when I'm like thinking about stand up, it's like always about like I'm never really content with where I am. I'm just always imagining like what's like the next step, and like that's gonna do something for me. It's kind of been like my whole life too, where it's just like I'd be like in love with roller coasters, but I'd be like I'm not tall enough to ride them. I'll be happy when I'm tall enough. And then now I just have that with stand up where it's like reach like the next barrier or whatever thing to get over, and like that kind of sucks. I want to just kind of get out of like something that feels kind of like the rat race or some shit like that.
I know what you mean.
Yeah.
I don't mind the rat race part because I like the roller coasters. But
I love roller coasters.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just I
get the metaphor when I
couldn't ride them.
Yeah. Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I mean, I am in this to attain things, but the attainment is not the happiness. It's not like the end all be all. That's not like how I measure my happiness.
What is the end all be all?
I have a variety of different ideas that I'm trying to inject into the culture.
Yeah, like what?
Different thoughts on how. I mean, certain like socialist things about like worker co-ops, and I want to do like a worker-owned media company at some point, as well as like certain opinions about comedy and jokes and whatnot that I'm just gonna say enough times and people will, you know what I mean? Yeah, but
do you feel like this is like the correct medium for that to work? And because I feel like sometimes like I used to think like I want to impart like some like Buddhist ideas onto the audience, but it's like I don't think
it was very Buddhist of you before, the kind of just going with the flow.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah,
but that is like basically the same thing, honestly. But it's just like, is what I say as like the weird guy that goes up there and says existential shit, like, are they gonna like care about any of the philosophical ideas I have, or are they just gonna be like, well, that guy was saying crazy shit, that means nothing to me, but it was like kind of funny?
Yeah. No, I mean,
I don't know. I just don't know if like you can. I guess you can, but sometimes I'm like skeptical or like cynical that you can like really make much change when you're like doing something where it's like about being funny.
Yeah. Okay. So luckily, I don't think you have to do them at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
In my stand up, I just want to be funny.
Oh, really?
But then outside of it, I want to use this. The goal is to use the stand up as like the vehicle to get the platform.
Okay.
And then once I have a platform, because I don't want to, if I would release a special, I don't think I would be like, and by the way, we should start a worker co-op. You know what I mean? I think I would, outside of it, surrounding it, be like, also, by the way, these are my opinions. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because that shit's kind of lame. Like the people that are just trying to be preachy and like their joke thing.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's like, but I guess it's not a vehicle to be. I mean, I guess it is a vehicle. It's a vehicle to be preachy outside of it.
Yeah.
But
do you think like?
Are you Buddhist?
Kinda.
Interesting. Sorry, what did you say?
I don't know.
We'll come back to that.
I'm trying to think. Like, do you think it's like worth it to like even make changes to society?
I think so.
Sometimes I get like, I don't know if it's cynical or just back to the Buddhist shit, but it's like, I'm pretty sure that we're all already God, so it's like, doesn't fucking matter.
What do you mean by that?
Like, I don't know. I just remember, I don't want to talk about like fucking drugs too much, but like one time I did mushrooms. I got like, this is like a joke I used to do about where I thought I had anal cancer, but I don't really say it anymore. I really did think I had anal cancer. That joke was pretty true. But
people might have taken it as just a joke or something.
Yeah, they thought I was like saying shit, but like I felt like a lump in my butt. I was scared.
Damn.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, one time I was doing mushrooms and like I was like in my room by myself, like tripping like probably the hardest I'd ever tripped. I was like drunk too, which I like drinking with psychedelics. I think it's fun. But
okay.
Yeah, check it out. It's like I got surrounded by like all these eyes and they were like purple and shit, and they were telling me like you and everything and everyone else and like everything else are God. And I was like, whoa, that's fucking sick. So I started believing that. And then in my joke, and this was actually true too, like, but the eyes, they told me I had anal cancer. And I was like, damn.
There must have been at least one mouth.
No mouth.
No mouth? How are they speaking?
They were just like transmuting it or whatever into my brain.
Yeah.
I could just like feel the words. I
guess my agreement with that is the idea that as atoms, we are the universe experiencing itself, that like famous idea.
Mm-hmm.
So that's when people say we all are God, or how you're saying it, I'm like, that's kind of the interpretation I'm seeing.
Yeah.
But I guess if we are, okay, let's say we all are God, or the and the universe. I'll do and, not or. Well, let's do both.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's still plenty of people are experiencing suffering and pain.
I agree.
And even if they are God, they're in some sort of suffering or pain. And I think it's a worthwhile endeavor to help to aim to fix that in some capacity.
I think you should too, but I think the ultimate thing is that like as long as people don't realize certain stuff, they're probably going to be like suffering forever. Like it's kind of just like I was saying with stand up, it's like the goalpost change for like what you think is going to make you happy or what's going to like alleviate your suffering sometimes. Mm-hmm. So I'm just like not always sure that like mending like a problem that you see is like the best response. It feels more like a band-aid instead of like a like solution where you're like fixing the problem, like the cause of the problem.
Sure.
If that makes sense.
Yeah, totally. But is it not worthwhile to
I think you should.
try?
I think you should. I think you should.
Yeah.
But then
Band-Aids, are good.
True.
People are always knocking. People are like, it's just a Band-Aid. Oh, you mean that famously useful item?
Yeah. Yeah, maybe it's just because I'm like depressed at the same time where it's just like, we're fine. Doesn't fucking matter. But I think you should probably try to fix things.
Yeah.
But I don't know. No, people are suffering.
Yeah. I mean, and that also, and then also bringing more happiness. And I think, I feel like I can see, or I've been made aware of certain root causes, or at least what people believe are the root causes of certain suffering. Mm-hmm. And so it's like if you attack those more directly head on, mm-hmm. I think it's like good, maybe. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I don't know.
I do know what you mean. Yeah, because that's like the opposite of the Band-Aid and shit. Yeah. Like, I don't know, like just like specifically, I was kind of thinking about this morning. Like I banged the shit out of my hand on something the other day. And like kind of like to alleviate the suffering, instead of just like, there's nothing to do about like your hand when you like hit it really hard, right? But like, what if I try to perceive the pain in a way that isn't bad? Like that's where I'm trying to get to.
Totally. I've been in the same spot. I have like back, you can see I've got these pillows here for this chair because I get back pain. So if I don't like really kind of mediate.
Still good. I thought I might be out of frame.
Oh yeah. Come on in. If I don't do things to mediate it, then I get like horrible back pain. I'll have like a full day where I'm just like writhing, and at a certain point you gotta go. All right, let me experience the pain as an other thing, but it just becomes really hard to maintain that for a long time. You know what I mean?
It is.
And then you just
hard.
feel like, well, I am also just still experiencing pain, and I'd say something really sad, and it's my snake skin. Something really sad that happened within the.
That's real?
Yep.
These look like stockings or something, like fishnets.
That'd be cool if that's the kind of thing I'd be into. It's a fetish I would have. If a woman wants to wear
snakeskin tights.
As a stocking. Yeah, that's right. What was I saying? What the hell was I saying?
That's crazy. My bad to cut you off.
That's all right. Oh, the pain thing. It's like, well, then I started experiencing pleasure from a dissociative idea. And I was like, oh, no, I don't want to dissociate from pleasure also.
Yeah.
And but because I've established that I'm able to dissociate from my emotions or physical sensations, it's been kind of a nightmare.
I know what you mean. Because sometimes it's like, I'll be talking to people about this, but it's like, when I try to like think about things in a way that makes me like not have like the negative side effects or whatever, it's the same thing where it's like, do I feel positive at all anymore? And like, should we alleviate suffering if alleviating suffering is just going to get us to this thing where we can't have pleasure anymore either? Like, I don't know if it is like black and white like that, but sometimes it feels like you need to like suffer some to enjoy other things.
Yeah, totally. And I think that's true. I guess a goal in the world though would be to like eliminate certain suffering.
Yeah, there's like, horrible shit that happens.
Totally. Like I would never remove the suffering of losing a grandparent or going through a breakup or whatever. You know what I mean? So there'd absolutely still be some baseline of suffering, and I think that's important. But I think it's worthwhile to try to remove like wage slavery or you know what I mean? Like horrible, grueling lives.
That shit's like awful.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know.
This guy knows.
I didn't mean to say it like that. I was just thinking. Yeah, that is fucked up.
So what's your relation to Buddhism?
It was just like the drug thing too, honestly, where it's just like the drugs all tell me stuff and then I like Google it afterwards and then it's just like, this is the exact same as like what all these Buddhists think.
Do you think are they doing psychedelics?
Not really, I don't think. I think like Taoist might have done some mushrooms. But besides that, I don't think they're really tripping that much. But I think like meditation might bring you into like a similar headspace.
Damn. I could see that. Yeah. You like get to similar epiphanies. Also, oh yeah, we're almost at an hour.
Fuck yeah.
Do you yeah. So we'll take a break soon, and then we'll go to the Patreon. But before we do you have anything you want to plug? Sounds like not really.
I have absolutely nothing that I want to plug. Yeah, do you have anything?
Oh,
You can use my plug spot.
Are you going to be taking a hiatus from comedy?
Yeah, probably.
Not sure how long. You're just like
I might just quit.
fascinating.
I don't really care. Yeah.
Wow, this might be Stevie's last appearance.
First and last.
First and last?
Mm-hmm.
No. This is your first podcast?
Mm-hmm.
So cool. Wow. You'll be like, John Schwartzelder?
I don't think so.
Okay. You don't strike me as a comedy nerd because I feel
I'm
like you wouldn't
not.
be interested. Yeah. He's like a famously reclusive Simpsons writer.
Mm-hmm.
But I wonder if you'll be sort of a legend in the same, remember Stevie Baek? He existed.
Mm-hmm.
Then he's, yeah.
That would be cool.
Yep. Did I say your name correctly?
Yeah, Baek.
Cool. What do I got to plug? I'll be in Philadelphia May 28th. I'm going to be doing the Punchline there. Yep. The Comedy Central thing comes out May 24th. And I think I'll be in Chicago July 5th at the Zanies.
Oh,
So if you know anybody in Chicago, come to that. And if you're in Philadelphia, May 28th, Punchline. All right. We'll go to part 2. Let's rock and roll. I'm going to get more lemonade.
Yeah, I was thinking I could use some water.
Hell yeah. See you, folks.